Hi, this is E.T., and this here is heavyweight boxer Joe Koinski, who in 1897 held future heavyweight champion James J. Jeffries to a draw. The San Francisco Call newspaper reported that Koinski actually won that fight. And then in February of 1901, he knocked out future heavyweight champion Jack Johnson. And in November of 1903, he drew with another future heavyweight champion, Marvin Hart. But a year before Koinski knocked out Jack Johnson, he took on a natural welterweight, later middleweight, named Joe Walcott, after whom Jersey Joe Walcott, whose real name was Arnold Cream, named himself. Now here's the story. The bout took place at the Broadway Athletic Club in New York City. The date, February 23, 1900. Now Walcott stood only 5 feet 2 inches, and he weighed 147 pounds. Koinski stands 6 feet, maybe 6 feet and a half inches, and he weighed 163 pounds. Now later on, Koinski said, no, I weighed only 161. The odds makers obviously favored Koinski, but a Kentucky newspaper noted this, and I'm quoting, Walcott has a chance and a good one. His stomach is about the only point where he is susceptible to damage, and being low of stature, he is hard to reach, especially as he's always boring in on an opponent. His low size also gives him full play on an opponent's midsection, and he goes for the body with a hurricane aggressiveness, unquote. Here is what happened. In the first round, Walcott, the Barbados Demon, runs to Koinski. He smashes a left to the body. Koinski, for reasons I'll get into later, drops his arms, leaving an opening to his head. Walcott lands a right to Joe's jaw. Then Joe slips to the boards. He rises up. Walcott lands a left hook to Koinski's jaw. And later he was hit so hard that he fell out of the ring. Once up, and Koinski was hit on the jaw with another Walcott right, and he was on the canvas, seemingly knocked out. But he was saved by the bell at about the count of 7. The next 5 rounds were all Walcott. Then comes the 7th. Walcott was a hurricane of punches in this round, the head and the torso. A powerful left and right had Koinski down to the count of 5. Then he gets up, and it's followed by a torrent of punches to all parts of Joe's body, in particular the kidney and ribs. He had Koinski in such trouble that the referee steps in between the two. He declares Walcott the victor, and at the same time he's holding Koinski up with one arm. The New York Evening World reported this. Referee White said afterward that he felt one more good punch would have put Koinski out. Koinski was in such a pitiable condition, and the services of a physician were necessary. So how was it that the man who would later dispose of a future heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson, and hold a future heavyweight champion, Marvin Hart, to a draw, and would earlier hold future heavyweight champion James J. Jeffries to a draw, how could he lose to a man so much smaller than he? Well, here's the reason, or reasons. Joe Koinski was in no condition that night to fight anybody. His floating rib was already broken. A simple breath caused him terrible pain, and he'd lost way too much weight. He had overtrained before breaking the rib. And that's why he kept his arms so low from the very first round. He could not protect his head. His doctor, Joseph Muir, had been treating Joe for both the broken rib and the flu. And he said, Koinski never should have gone into the ring last night. I strongly advised him against it. The New York Evening World on February 26 published an interview with Koinski, and Joe said this: "After I beat Mayer in Chicago last Saturday, I slipped on an icy pavement and fell. I struck a post and broke my rib. I wrote the Broadway Athletic Club people that I had a broken rib and could not fight." Well, it was the promoters who threatened Koinski to fight, or else. And it was reported that insiders who knew that Joe couldn't fight or defend himself that night, it was they who made a lot of money because the odds favored Koinski to win. So the question comes up, would Walcott have beaten a healthy Joe Koinski? Well, like Marciano, the Barbados Demon did well against larger fighters. He could get into their midsections while able to protect his own. And it was only with smaller opponents, again like Rocky, that he had a problem. On the other hand, a healthy Koinski had a record that showed he could easily handle whatever the size of the competition. But we can only speculate. And that's the story. Did you like it? Tap the thumb up icon. And do share this video and subscribe. Thank you.